Welcome to another Unapologetic with Eric King of WOVU 95.9 FM. We are the talk show where we dig deep beneath the headlines and right into the heartbeat of our community. I'm your host, as I said, Eric King, and this is Wellness Wednesday. That's right, it's the first Wednesday of the month. Let me give a big shout out to all of my August babies. One is sitting here with me, Sade, and then my daughter, is August 20th, and my father is August 7th. And I know that I'm forgetting somebody, but I'm going to go ahead and just move on and just say big shout outs to all of the Leos. For some reason, me and Leos are very attracting to one another. My host, Sade, is here, and we are going to talk today. We're stepping into the middle of a fight that has been simmering for decades, and that is Mars versus Venus on Earth, the age-old tug of war between men and women. Now, here's the thing. It's not just about romantic drama. It's about what's happening inside of our homes, inside of our community, and inside of our culture, and the numbers tell us a lot. So nationally, the divorce rate sits at 2.4 per 1,000 people. That is the lowest it's been in decades. But in Ohio, we're slightly higher, 2.6 over 1,000 individuals. On paper, it looks like marriage is holding up, but the reality is more complicated in Black and brown adults, and they're experiencing a higher level of divorce in America. And for Black women ages 35 to 44, the first divorce rate is around 34 per 1,000 marriages. That's not just a stat. That's pretty much how how our nation is going as it relates to Black relationships. And so we look at where that impacts and what that impacts. That literally impacts the home first and then the community. And so, and while we have all of these individuals on social media telling us that it is a gender war, the truth is we're fighting the battle that wasn't originally ours to fight. So a whole community is sectioned and divided and devoted to tearing each other down. So hashtag Black men versus Black women trends, Mansphere podcast goes viral, and TikTok is filled with relationship experts that has never been in a healthy, let me quote this, healthy relationship. Now they've been in relationships. I'm not going to front on them, but healthy relationships is something that I would like to stress. So today I want to anchor this conversation in something personal. So over my lifetime, I've come to recognize that there are certain archetypes of women that have shaped my idea of love. So the legacy woman who's about building about building something that lasts together, the kindred spirit who feels like home, the wise mother whose guidance has helped me in ways that is just amazing given the relationship that I have with my own mother, and the quote unquote rhymes with an or, they call it horror, but it's not the religious sense, but it is the honest acknowledgement of raw, unapologetic sexuality, which I am 100% drawn to. So these architects aren't boxes that we put people in. They are lenses to help us connect and work together and break a lot of the barriers that we have within our community. And we're serious about healing on this podcast and on this show, and we're serious about it in my profession. So I want you guys to buckle up. So we're going to have some fun. But before we jump, we're going to have something a little different on our, the midday mix.
Oh, okay.
We're going to have some gratitude today.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We're
I
gonna do
like
some
that.
gratitude. So
Yeah.
I want to go ahead and give a shout out to all of the couples, whether it is
Yes.
same-sex couples, whether it is homosexual couples, triads, all that. I want all of the couples to have a
Yeah.
great time,
Yeah.
especially those that are Black and brown. So before I jump into our gratitude mix, I want to go ahead and talk to the gratitude author and just see how she's been doing. How you been doing, Sade?
Oh, great. It's, a few days shy of my 40th birthday, and 40 years for a woman is like another level of her feminine blossoming. So I feel good. I think that people don't recognize that women actually get softer as they get older.
Yeah.
It's not just soft life era. It's kind of like, hey, man, I'm not doing all that stuff as
I'm
before
not gonna
no
do
more.
this. Right.
I'm just not about to do it. So coming into that on a full scope,
Yeah.
well-rounded level. Feels great, actually.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's nice to easy
So
to
for
settle
those
into.
that are chakra driven, so I said you are in your fifth life cycle. So
Hmm.
7 times 5, fifth
Hmm.
life cycle. And in theory, your fifth chakra. That's
That would
where
be the heart.
that would be the throat.
Would it?
Yeah, that
So
would be the throat.
root sacral.
Yep, yep, yep.
How it would? It
It
would
would
be
be
the.
so you are
Yep, you're right.
there, you are in
The
your
throat
masculine
chakra.
to talk.
A lot. Isn't that amazing?
So
I've been
you
doing a lot of talking.
yeah. So you are entering your masculine chakra for
That
those
also means
that
I have to
that look
speak
at it.
my truth, and so that speaks to living your truth. It's the living out loud.
Do you want to do that though?
Absolutely. Are you kidding me?
For anyone
I
that
don't
know
want to do anything else
for,
but that.
right, for anyone that knows her, she
Like, are
she
you
speaks her
kidding?
truth.
Yeah, I'm not. I hate all the other stuff, which is probably why I don't have a lot of conversation with a lot of people. So,
So if we look at it, I'm 50 and I
hmm.
turned 50 this year. I am in my
Oh,
seventh
we're 10
life
years.
cycle. Right,
Yeah,
right,
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Seventh life cycle. And I'm on my first chakra in that. So which is the grounding. And if anyone has known me over this year of being 50,
Hmm.
I have been focused on grounding in ways that I didn't even know
Was a thing.
was a thing. So
Yeah,
so for all those, and once again, my Christian people, I
yeah.
am a Christian.
I hate
I
that we
am a
have to do
Christian,
that
right?
kind of
I got to put
prefacing.
that out there
Yeah,
because when we talk about certain things like this, I can show you in the Bible where all this stuff
it
is.
is. Yeah.
Um,
The Bible
eh,
has a lot of information. We just don't
if
tend
you
to
read it
read all
right,
of it,
right?
I guess.
If you
Yeah.
read it in a
When you
way,
focus on certain areas, it's hard to kind of see the big picture, but
100%,
there's a lot of things that it
100%,
encompasses.
100%. So yeah, so for my Christian people, I'm not talking blasphemy. I'm actually talking what is in the Bible.
Hmm.
Let's see. I am spiritually driven,
Yeah,
and Jesus is my Messiah.
absolutely.
Right. So
Yes.
so for all those that are listening, I have not left. I've
I
not
haven't left
left
the
you.
church. Yes.
I've not left the church. I've not left you.
Hmm.
Anything before we jump
Hmm.
into, because like I said, we're gonna do something a little different.
No, I think this conversation will be full and loaded for us. So I
Yeah.
think we can take the little break and just go full throttle.
All right.
Yeah.
So I do want to remind everybody that this is Unapologetic with Eric King. We're on Wellness Wednesday. And that's when we talk about all things wellness, all things healing, and all things to lift us up as a community. Today our topic is Mars versus Venus on Earth.
Hmm.
I've never actually read this book. I've never cared to read it.
You might enjoy it at this level.
Right. I've never cared to read it,
It's
but
very accurate.
it is it
It's going to
is
have
what
information in it.
it is what we do, and it's I don't think we have gender wars, and I do not believe it's our fight. I
Mm-hmm.
believe that we have been co-opted to
Mm-hmm.
fight a fight, just
Bamboozled.
bamboozled, led astray,
Furthermore, yeah.
and to fight someone else's fight, and to uplift someone else's idea of what a relationship is.
Absolutely.
Once again, I'm talking about all relationships, romantic
All.
relationships. I'm talking about same sex, non, and whatever you choose to have and whoever you choose to love.
Right.
So let's get some gratitude right quick, and we're gonna have just a little bit of moment of gratitude. Welcome back. Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. This is Wellness Wednesday, and this is where we talk all things healing. I
Mm-hmm.
have my co-host Sade on the line, and today the topic is, I guess the theme is Mars versus Venus on
Mm-hmm.
Earth. And if anyone has ever, heard the title, that's a book from way back when,
Yeah.
and it was used originally to define the differences in relationships
Mm-hmm.
as it relates to men. Because I guess for a while we've been trying to figure out what's wrong with us
Oh gosh. I
as
hope
we
that's not the
relate to our
problem.
genders. But let's start off at the top. So I gave some data, and I
Mm-hmm.
gave some data as it relates to divorce and the national picture versus Ohio picture. If you
Right.
take all of the marriages,
Mm-hmm.
and let's be real, stats have been used quite a bit to define certain things,
Yeah.
right? We use stats or they use stats, or stats was used in order to tell us that Black and brown people were less than Anglo-Saxon.
True.
So when we look at stats,
Mm-hmm.
we look at and we have to identify and understand what those stats are. But basically, what it states is that in Ohio,
Mm-hmm.
The rate is steady, or those that are married or identify as married, but as usual in the Black and brown communities, it's pretty low. Any thoughts on that?
I mean, there's plenty. Uh, the first thing is what you had mentioned, which was it didn't start as our fight.
Yeah.
So it's us trying to imitate a culture or a society
Hmm.
outside of embracing the potency and excellence of what we possess as a culture.
Hmm.
Um, so it's difficult to maintain healthy relationships with people outside of us if we are secondary to how we maintain relationship with ourselves, which was
Right.
one of our first radio
Yeah. That
conversations,
is true. That is
actually.
true.
So that if we're not able to take care of ourselves, it's just our relationship status and stats is a
Hmm.
reflection of the well-being
Yes.
of the individual
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
make up the community.
Yeah.
So it's not unbelievable,
Right.
right? So it makes sense in that aspect. However, I think the subscription of perpetuating and the propaganda
Hmm.
of us being problematic towards each
Hmm.
other is like it's almost like a cancer. Like
It is a cancer
yeah,
because
like
we're eating we're
we're
the
eating
ones
ourselves
doing it. Right.
yeah. And so that part I don't understand the conversations
Hmm.
we've had around it. Community wise, if you understand what the Black community looks like, and there's often single moms raising children,
Yeah.
so that's already a household imbalance.
Hmm.
That means that a female tends to have more masculine characteristics because she's the
Hmm.
producer, she's the protector, she's the
Based
provider
off of the
of her.
dynamics of the family.
Yeah, based
Right.
off the dynamics of the family. So that would make dating a little bit more difficult. So if you don't approach relationships in the form of partnerships and you have traditional views with
Hmm.
more modern experiences, they don't go together.
It's not only that they don't go together, they're misplaced.
They are.
When we have this thing called union, regardless of however you want
Right.
to call it,
Mm-hmm.
the very first union you have is with yourself.
Correct.
And
Absolutely.
the secondarily, you make a secondary commit to the agreement that you
Mhm.
made. So I've said this a lot and I stand by this.
Mm-hmm.
Marriage is simply an agreement. I'm not committed to Joy as my
Mhm.
wife. I'm committed to the agreement that the whole
Yes.
person, have with her.
Absolutely.
So that means if I go out and do something detriment to that,
Mhm.
I'm really doing it to me,
Absolutely.
secondarily to the agreement, and
Absolutely.
thirdarily to her.
Yes.
So, but
that's a fact. No,
but,
that's a fact. Yeah.
but this thing of marriage and how it relates to community,
Mhm.
it isn't like it isn't like this idea of whole person or us not being a whole person is new.
Mhm.
And what's weird is this marriage rate or the ideas of marriage have changed over the years,
Mhm.
or this idea of romantic union. Let's look at it from that state.
You
Has
use
changed,
the word.
right?
It's romantic.
Romantic union has
use
changed
the-
over years.
The icing.
What do you mean?
So the reason why we have such complicated dynamics in how we relate, especially when it comes to social media and things like that, is because of the illusion of romance that has been equated to long-term partnership.
You talking about before there was social media, we had one of my most favorite movies is Love Jones, right? So I'm all in that area. Love Jones, love and basketball.
Yeah,
And
don't do that. I don't like that one.
So if we look at all of these movies,
Unpopular opinion.
this thing, all of these things have not, this isn't new. And this idea of going back and forth, the concept of romance or the idea of romance and who to be romantic with and the stereotypical isn't new. So
no, that's not new.
Yeah.
But in association with how you commit to someone, romance is, so what I like to tell people is like love is a constant.
Yes.
Romance is how you experience love in a moment.
In that moment.
It's just the decoration of a thing, right?
Yeah. It's the icing, like you said.
That's what I'm trying. I know what I'm listen.
I got you.
So when you're making strong statements about commitment, connection, and long-term goals in partnership around idealized moments, it looks ridiculous.
And it looks ridiculous. I'm gonna agree with you. It looks ridiculous and it looks hard.
Doesn't it? Could you imagine being romantic through 365?
I got you. I, I,
24/7
I
all the
couldn't. I
time?
couldn't because it's
I couldn't.
exhausting.
It,
It's
my
exhausting.
God.
So how do you differentiate if we're still, on that first?
Yes.
Most what's interesting is so I'm a therapist.
Correct.
And so unfortunately, I see things in the coupleship when things have broken down.
Right.
And I'm not
Understood.
going to make a judgment on
Mm-hmm.
what I see because I can get real callous and get real,
Be
raggedy.
nice, E.
Right. I'm gonna be
Be
nice.
nice. Okay.
And what I have seen is no matter how long you've been in a relationship,
Mm-hmm.
once you are committed to that person,
Mm-hmm.
after about 7 years, things do get a little bit
They
rocky.
shift.
They call it the 7 year itch.
Correct.
Oddly enough,
Oddly enough.
the seven chakras, but we're not gonna go there.
But it's
But
also a year of completion.
you're 100% right.
So it's almost like at 7 years, both people have evolved in some type of space and form.
That's the part that I was about to say. You're never married to the same person you marry in additionally.
Right.
I mean, in the first place.
Right.
So the expectation of change has to happen. So
but that's not romantic. So we don't want to do that.
and it's also not lust. So if we look at romance,
That's
we
a
look
whole
at
nother
lust, we
thing.
look at all of these
Yeah.
things. If you can understand,
Mhm.
if your partner comes to you after a 7 year period, after a 30-day period, however long, and
Right.
say,
Right.
you're not the same person that I married, you should say, or I committed to, you should
Right.
say, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
How about you? What's your struggle in the
Right.
change?
Where are you at? in this?
Exactly. So I
Who are you now?
I
What you
think
like?
I think that romance or that sensationalized
Mhm.
aspect of it, sticking with the divorce, sticking with
Yeah.
if you marry somebody for the sole purpose of completion or you being completed, you never should have got married in the first place.
Absolutely.
Which is a lot of. So we go back to Jerry Maguire,
Yeah.
and I'm using all of these visual medias
Yeah.
or mediums
Mhm.
in order to push forward the point that what we're seeing
Mhm.
isn't reality.
Right.
Even though it's
Right.
deemed reality TV show and
Mhm.
it's on social media.
Yeah. I also think that it's a warped perception.
Mhm.
So when we buy into something that already has a broken concept,
That's the part.
we
It's
go,
not
we go, oh my God. I
right.
can't believe, like,
Right. I
come
can't believe
on,
you did
calm
this.
down.
Yeah.
Let's get back to the facts.
Yes.
This is somebody's conversation,
Yeah.
not reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, no, I agree. And I can feel like even when you're saying when you commit to somebody, you should expect evolution and growth.
Should.
You should expect change.
Should.
And you said that when people get married looking to be completed by their partner, that's kind of almost a recipe for disaster in some cases.
But it's the story, though.
But it's the story.
There's a different type of completion as it relates to legacy, and we'll talk about the four,
But
the
think
four
about-
archetypes, though.
For women,
Yeah.
I can't speak on men,
I'm
but
here
it's
for that.
kind
Go
of
for
in
it.
there. It's kind of in there. So for women, you're kind of groomed, even for the independent woman.
Yeah.
You're groomed. You go to school, you go to college, you get a husband, you have a family. Here's what's funny about these things,
Yeah, I
right?
got you.
You go to school, you graduate.
True.
You go to college, you graduate.
Completion.
You get a husband. Nobody talks about the graduation.
The matriculation.
No.
Yeah, none of this.
No one
none of it
talks
talks
about
it.
the fact that you take high school, college, eternity,
Right.
family.
Yeah.
Whoa. Hey,
Yeah.
can we talk about?
There's some because you're missing something.
Yeah. But it's not delivered
Mhm.
like something you should be committed to for life. You're not.
Mhm.
So when I talk to people about partnership, I say, think about going through life with this person. So that means I want to die with you, not
Yeah.
live with you.
Right.
That means that at the end of this, there could be some ups and downs. We
Right.
might get away from each other
Right.
for a little bit. I'm always going to plan to come back because what I want to do is be buried
Mhm.
with you by my side.
I don't want
I don't want nothing else. So listen, you like, I don't want
codependency. I'm
No,
sorry, but yeah,
but
go ahead.
it's because but that's what marriage is told
No,
to
I
be.
got you. I got you.
Except we're taught to look at it from the beginning, like the start line, and we don't think about what's in between the start and the finish.
So originally, marriage was not like how it is now. It was more communal, and it wasn't even marriage. It was a union.
You're gonna have to break that down for those that don't understand.
We're not
like
gonna do it now
myself.
because we got to roll to the next one. But this idea of togetherness wasn't
Yeah.
how we. Like in most cases, we co-opt certain things to fit our purposes, such as religion, such as exercise, such as dialogue.
Yeah.
So this idea that this thing that we've been doing is a made-up construct that we've bought into, meaning
True.
that's not our fight. This is not our fight. So
If we
let's,
decided to subscribe to it, like the agreement that
but
we
we do it all
made,
the time.
you know.
So let's kick it to this concept of the, and so, so I
Mm-hmm.
have allowed myself in this 50th year to
Mm-hmm.
sit back and look at what I've gone through. And so recently I did some shadow work.
Mm-hmm.
And in that shadow work, it was more, it's after the book,
Mm-hmm.
No More Mr. Nice Guy,
Mm-hmm.
I created some shadow work prompts.
Mm-hmm.
And it was
For
more,
those that don't know what shadow work is.
for those that don't know shadow work, it started with Carl Jung and the shadow work, and it's to bring out the things that we hide and that we keep quiet. And so by doing and writing and doing shadow work or participate in shadow work, it brings it to the conscious. So it goes from
Yeah.
the subconscious to the
The things
conscious.
we are afraid to admit to ourselves.
Yes.
The things
And
we,
definitely to other people.
yes.
So I
Got
went
it.
through and I did it. And one day I did something and I did one and I just broke out crying.
Right.
And I started crying because I saw all of the women that I encountered over my life.
Mm.
And so it took me a while to sit
Mm-hmm.
back. Now, mind you, I'm married, all this other stuff.
Yeah.
It took me a while to figure this out. And I was able to put each woman that have been paramount to me in my life
Mm-hmm.
into 4 categories. Now, granted, there are more.
Right. Sure.
There are more.
Yeah.
And so I put women into 4 categories. It was the
Mm-hmm.
legacy category.
Mm-hmm.
It was the hold on, let me make sure I get it right. It is the legacy, the kindred spirit,
Mm-hmm.
the wise mother, and the whore.
Mm-hmm.
Sound like or. And so
Uh-huh.
hopefully they don't kick
Mm-hmm.
me out.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was able to put everybody, every woman that I was able to go all the way back to Angela, who I had a crush on when I
Mm-hmm.
was like in the third grade. When I was like in the third
Poor
grade.
Angela. Let's hope she
Right,
didn't catch a
right,
stray
right.
out
I
here.
think her name was
Uh-huh.
Angel. Her
Oh,
name was
okay.
Angel.
Okay.
Shout out to Angel on 113th of Union. But
Oh,
she was
okay.
older than me.
Mm-hmm.
She was like at least 20 years older than me. But
Oh,
she was
okay.
fine in the mug. Anyway,
At 8.
at 8,
Okay.
bruh. So
We
in
see
any
where
case,
that came
I
from.
went
Mm-hmm.
through and then I recently connected with Barbara Boyd,
Mm-hmm.
who I termed her as my wise mother.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Right. And this is someone, she has a whole family,
Yeah.
but I met her and it was a kindred, and she's always watched over me. And so I've
Yeah.
always had Eartha Kennerly, which is my God sent mother.
Right. Right.
I've
Right.
always had these wise mothers to come
Yeah.
into my life
Yeah.
and mother me. And
Yeah.
so I put them into 4 categories and I asked her, I said, do women do this? And she was like, I have no idea what you're talking about.
Oh,
So I'm gonna ask you.
oh, don't ask me things.
So I truly
Yeah.
believe that each one of these archetypes
Mm-hmm.
are women that a woman will flow into because I believe women have power.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So before I jump into any of the do you have or do you recognize, what's your
Mm-hmm.
thoughts on this concept of archetypes? Because these are just
I
mine.
think that it makes sense. I also think that because you and I are individuals that value relationship,
Mhm.
that almost identifying what it means. Basically, we see ourselves through the relationships and the connections that we have,
Mhm.
right?
Yes.
So being able to define it gives us a clarity or understanding and how we sit in a certain posture. So yes, I
Okay.
do understand that because I'm the person who loves to be like, oh, that's a kindred spirit or a soulmate or a twin
Mhm.
flame, or that's a karmic thing, or that's a, that's a familiar. That's how I identify
Yeah.
people as well. And it's because it has helped me to be fair, place people in the appropriate spaces
Mhm.
and have a better understanding of what I'm accessing
Mhm.
within that person, and also to not misplace putting people in spaces that they shouldn't be. They say
Yeah.
we get with
No, I
people
get you.
for a reason, a season,
In a lifetime.
and a lifetime.
Mhm.
So I don't want to put a seasonal person in a lifetime position, not recognizing
Their position. This the other thing. So
yeah.
let's go back to this idea of why black men date white women.
Oh, okay, we're here.
Where I'm going to make a specific statement.
Okay.
It's the whore archetype.
Is it? You think so?
I do, because if I look
Okay.
at, if I sat down and I thought about it, it is the raw, unapologetic sexuality. It is the thing that it
and
is
our
the
community is not set up like
right,
that.
because
Yeah, not
black
at all.
men and black women don't have hard conversation about kink and desirabilities
Yeah.
that taps into the unbridled, unapologetic
Yeah.
sexuality. So if I go to someone who
Mhm.
has not tapped into their sexuality
Mhm.
as a sexual being, I'm a Scorpio,
Mhm.
and I be like, yo, I want to do A, B, C, and LMNOP,
Mhm.
I'm going to look outward
Yeah.
because
And
not
it's it's
Go
the
ahead.
shame of the dynamic. So
Yeah.
our community, we've talked about this,
Yep.
offline. It's the shame that's associated with the natural essence of sexuality, sensuality, but we don't ever, like you said, talk
We
about
don't
it.
talk about it.
We could talk about being abstinent until marriage,
Yep.
but I don't see any. Well, they might do it nowadays. I know
Mhm.
2025 is pretty radical, so I'm not saying people don't do it.
Yeah.
But at the same time, if you have young people that are getting married, do you also have mentors to talk to them about what they do as a marital
Yeah.
partner? What have you talked to them how to introduce certain aspects of themselves in a
Mhm.
natural form? Because this is supposed to be where the morality of sexuality is, and yet it's never even addressed there.
Go back to the denial.
What about the
And so
denial?
you and I talk a lot offline
Mhm.
about denial. And what I've learned is one in
Okay.
in order for me to be, because anyone has listened, know that I've had a checker pass with certain things, and I've gone through and beaten myself up, right? I've
Mhm.
castigated and flogged myself for all of
Mhm.
that.
Mhm.
And so this idea of desire,
Mhm.
and when someone what
It's the
denial
denial for
and
me.
desire, what I found, which was started, that really opened up, is
Mhm.
that I was an unfair partner to my partner, because my partner got me
Yeah.
at a time where I was denying the fact of I had these people in my I've always had these four classifications of women in my life. And I
Mhm.
have not always had sexual relations with the fourth category.
Right. Right.
It's just the unbridled sexual attraction.
Mhm.
But I have had relationship with the legacy person,
Yep. Yep.
the Kindred Spirit person, never
Yeah.
the wise mother person, right?
Yeah.
Never had anybody that mothered
Yeah.
me.
That's
So
different.
let me go back to this.
Mhm.
When we look at this, how
Mhm.
do you think, based off of the people you know and
Mhm.
the people that you exist, attempting to fit a person
Mhm.
into a different category
Mhm.
causes the tension? Talk about that.
Well, yeah, because any relationship that doesn't allow for acceptance and understanding to exist, period, is
Mhm.
gonna cause tension.
Right.
So if I don't accept your role in like
Right.
if you're not meeting my expectations,
Right.
and I'm like, oh, this just doesn't really work for me, that's gonna be a complication. If A, the person has the inability to meet that,
Mhm.
that's gonna be difficult.
Yeah.
Or B, it's gonna take the work to say, hey, why can't we,
Yes.
improve in this
Right.
area? Is there something we can do?
Right.
Is it a fear thing? Like what do we need to work through to get to that,
To get to where we need to go.
at? Yeah. And then the C thing, is it a requirement or is it a preference that is desired to be explored
Mhm.
versus something that is really needed to sustain longevity?
So go back to this idea of picking. So you pick someone who is mothering you, and what typically what happens.
You know where that's from because you're a therapist.
Yes, I know where it's from. You get into a relationship with a wise mother,
Yeah.
and and that wise mother
Mhm.
expect legacy reciprocation
Yes.
from you.
Yeah.
What I call it is the broken bird.
Yeah.
The wise mother has gotten into, or you have found someone to attempt
To
to
nurture
fix
you.
you
Yeah.
and nurture you,
Yes.
where you have put someone into a place
Mhm.
where they don't want to be.
Yeah.
They want to be the builders. They want to build with you. They want to
Yep.
uplift
And
you.
so it's
They
a
want to,
different,
yes.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's gonna be complicated.
So even the Kindred Spirit,
Yeah. Yeah.
you get into a relationship with someone who is and you think because they're your soulmate,
Yeah.
you're supposed to be together.
Yep.
But that soulmate don't want to build
Don't
in the
want to
same
do
way you want to.
nothing.
They don't want to give you the type of
Mm-mm.
sex that you want.
That's all a
Nor
problem. It's all a situation, sir. It's all a problem.
nor when you are in a dire straits of getting it in.
Yeah.
They're not there to
No,
support you and
'cause
bring
they're
you
like,
up. They're there like, hey,
I just wanted to talk.
I just want you to breathe.
Yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
breathe.
I don't want to breathe.
But I'm sorry. Go ahead. What you were saying. Though.
No, but I think that's accurate. But I think there's a bigger scope. Like the archetypes are how you identify and it makes you comfortable to dwell within those spaces. But like you said, if there's unmet expectations,
Yep.
and that's on both sides.
Both sides.
So that means if I think I'm somebody's legacy, but they think
Exactly.
I'm a Kindred Spirit, and they're like, "Hey, I just want to
chill.
What's going on? Like, I just
like,
I
hey,
see what you was doing
yo,
on
I thought
Saturday."
we was gonna just
I was
jump
like,
off.
Wait, I thought about our
Netflix and chill.
grandchildren. What are you talking
Right.
about?
Hold on.
So
right. What you talking about, babies? Netflix and chill.
That don't go together.
Right.
It's unmet expectations, and also it's not having the courage to communicate what you want, what you need, what you desire.
Courage. You gotta have that courage. All right. So we
So
so we get
yeah,
let's kick to this wars. Let's for the last
we
couple
don't do
minutes.
good at warring.
Let's get to this. I believe, and I'm gonna
Uh-huh.
let you lead it off. All
Uh-oh.
right. I believe we've imported this gender war. So we got mansphere, we got red pill, we got online debates that are fueling, mistrust. I
Okay.
think that this is not our fight.
Okay.
Yes, if we look at it from the present moment, we're going through it. I don't
Mm-hmm.
think it's our fight. I think we're being co-opted for a
Mm-hmm.
grander picture, which is separating of the genders by the
Yeah.
people that have the power. All right, go for it.
Okay, so I think that that's accurate, but I think the problem is if we don't start having conversations around changing it, then we are going to self-destruct as a culture.
Mhm.
Now, the truth is that it is going to be effective on division.
We're it's good on that end.
It's very
Man.
it's very effective
Yeah.
on division. But when I say that, I mean it's also going to be the division of mindsets, maturity, and status, even
Mhm.
within our community,
Mhm.
because there are a number of Black people and families and couples that do not subscribe
To what?
to the gender war conversation.
Yeah, you and I
Right?
talked about that, and I
Yes.
don't either.
I don't
Yeah.
either. So, but what I'm saying as far as the division goes is that we'll let a subcategory of our people
Yep.
self-destruct by
Mhm.
continuing conversations
Mhm.
that are just unhealthy for their own development. So here's the thing, and
Mhm.
I talk about this a lot. I think the issue with making it a conversation around back and forth is war, is that if a wheel told the bike, like the spokes on the bike, that it was a problem,
Yeah.
that's we need each other.
Yeah.
So there's no separation.
Yeah.
It's a civil
Mhm.
war, and until we understand that every time I hurt my Black counterpart,
Mhm.
I'm gonna wound me, and every time he says something or does something to wound me, I wound him. Then
Yeah.
we wound our children. We wound. We're just constantly causing harm.
This is the other thing,
Yeah.
and this goes back to the archetype. I think there's an archetype that is misunderstood.
Okay.
Both, I think they're all,
Mm-hmm.
but to go in with this war, I think that the war is about expectation,
Mm-hmm.
and because we are humans that want what want what we want
Mm-hmm.
when we want it. We
Mm-hmm.
are human. That's where the things happen, is that you get into a relationship with someone,
Mm-hmm.
and based off of what happens and what is fed to you, because
Mm-hmm.
we're in a culture of algorithms that send information to you,
Correct. Yep.
we import that into this concept of warring,
Yes.
and we go out and we make declarations because we misunderstood the partner that we were with and the expectation that the partner had in being with us.
So all of this conversation is also based on hurt. So whole people
Pain.
don't
Yeah.
speak like this.
True.
So people who are wounded, and that's men and women. So that
Mhm.
means a man who has been made to feel like he doesn't make enough money,
Right.
made to feel like he
Height.
was taken for granted, made to feel like
Right.
he's a short king, so don't nobody want to choose it. I like short, anyways. But um
I get you.
for a person that speaks in this rhetoric, it's from hurt. So even for a
It is
woman
pain.
who talks about ain't no man doing this, or
Yeah, yeah.
Black men treat you like this, woman, why are y'all still staying with Black men? They not treating, I get the conversation, but
Yeah.
it comes from a hurt space.
Yeah.
So why are we taking hurt people's advice
Hurt people hurt people. But keep
to
going.
have
Keep going.
healed
Keep going.
situations? Do you understand what I'm
No, no,
saying?
no, no. I do. And I think that is the crux of the thing, is no one understands how to be hurt anymore. Or hold on, wait. No, we
You
understand
could be
that.
hurt. Yeah.
No one understands how to heal in a healthy way anymore.
Right.
And what I
So
mean
now
by
we're
that,
just spewing out
yes,
garbage to the rest
we're
of the world.
we're just
And
literally
it's like,
lashing
oh,
out.
I understand that. Oh, I know that hurt too. Oh, well, me too. Oh, this girl just left me. Oh, here we go. A miserable group
Two
of
miserable people.
people.
Yeah.
It's not even a group. It's a whole algorithm
Yes, the
of
algorithm now of
miserable,
miserable
wounded people who feel seen
Yeah.
and celebrated and heard.
Yeah.
And so how do you shut them up?
You turn them off. You
Oh.
stop because it's an algorithm. But this idea, so let's go back to the imported.
Mm-hmm.
I think if we go back to any strong aspect of anyone,
Mm-hmm.
single motherhood exploded in the 80s and 90s,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
And so, in order to survive that moment, I
Mhm.
believe that there was a co opting of strength
Mhm.
because you had to survive that moment.
Yeah.
You couldn't do anything. What didn't happen was I'm strong
Mhm.
simply out of survival. This is how you
True.
go from surviving to living
Yeah.
to thriving.
Yeah.
Thriving is finding someone who is your partner
Yeah.
and connecting with that someone and being all of the archetypes together,
Right.
right?
Right.
And so I think to go back to this imported, because of what it's not just simply imported and co-opted based off of what was going on at the time, the
Mhm.
women's lib movement,
Mhm.
1920s, right? Everything, shout out to the Zetas and
Mm.
everything that was going
Yes,
on.
indeed.
It's just that I think that when all of this exploded,
Mhm.
we fell back on this thing and we said, all right, so in order for us to survive, this is black women,
Mhm.
because black women also have, black men, black
Yeah, they do.
boys. They just don't have black girls. In
Yeah.
order to survive, I feel as though I have to bring this in, which someone didn't stop them and say, okay, this is where you put down your arms.
But
This is where you stop fighting.
so that's true. There's multiple things that have
Mhm.
gone on, and I think that in 2025 we don't realize we're just in a new world. We're establishing a new normal.
Mhm.
So a lot of these things have been broken apart so that they could come back together in the appropriate way because they weren't placed that way.
Okay.
So you're talking about
Yeah.
how in the 1980s, 90s, um, single households
Mhm.
increased, right? Well, it was, I believe, I don't know. I think it was 1980s. No, 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 no. I take it back. So it wasn't too long before that space, which I think was like maybe 60s, where
Mhm.
birth control became a thing. So
Yeah.
that changed things too, because now people can control
I can go
whether
out
or
and
not.
be sexual.
Yeah. I'm just
Right.
saying
No,
there's a
for
lot of,
real.
I'm talking about there's precursors
Right.
to how these things
Yeah.
evolved
Yeah.
in certain spaces. So even the household changing, women being able to buy houses on their own,
Mhm.
without a man
Without a
being
man.
involved. Structures and laws changed that created freedoms, quote
Yeah.
unquote, and
Mhm.
independency
Mhm.
for women. That in some cases might have been great for sure. I
Mhm.
think that women should be independent. However, it took away what that meant for a man's role
Yeah.
in community, in society, in structure when it came to the black household.
Mhm. You can be independent
Hmm.
in the collective.
Yes, you
You can,
can.
and it's not about oppression. It's not about
Yeah.
subjugation, and it's not even this idea of submission because
Hmm.
the submission is actually a co-submission.
Hmm.
It's not a one-way
Yeah,
submission,
we both submit
right?
to each.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you submit
Hmm.
to each other,
Hmm.
and that's where I say that this fight isn't ours, and we
Hmm.
spend too much time in fighting rather than spending the time to nourish
Yeah.
one another
Yeah.
as they're going through. You hear someone going through a divorce, you hear someone going through a
Yeah.
hard time. I had a client yesterday, is
Hmm.
what they did, and and I work with men. What that
Hmm.
male did was
Hmm.
simply he left a long-term relationship
Hmm.
and just got into another one,
Oh yeah.
and then came to see and was like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. Yeah,
Oh yeah.
because
Well, and that happens a lot with men more than it
and
does
I'm
with
just right. I'm
women.
just talking about men.
Yeah, yeah.
Women
That
have a different
they
way
have a
of
different
dealing.
experience. But no, what you're saying is that's because men learn very quickly how a woman benefits him.
Yeah.
And so because he's very logical and it's very easy to be like, well, if I could take one out, I could place one in, and they could do those things, and it pacifies
Yeah.
kind of your mental. It's not that the emotional have been healed, or that
Hmm.
you feel better about it, or that you even feel the same way about the next person. It pacifies the mental that the structure of the situation looks the same. Oh, there's a woman here,
There's a
somebody
woman.
to call, there's
There you
somebody to
go.
do. So it fills in all the blanks. Because men are logical, it makes sense that they would operate in that fashion.
Hmm.
Now, the flip side is that women do not.
Yeah.
Like that's a very unhealthy, unhinged
Hmm.
woman who can bounce through
Hmm.
that many, because that means she's disregarding the
Hmm.
most natural part of herself, which is her emotions.
And the emotion part, and that's the interesting thing,
Mm-hmm.
is when we look at the expression of emotion, what's happening in this imported war
Mm-hmm.
is just simply a defense mechanism of unhealed emotional trauma.
It is.
Trauma. That's all
Yep.
it is. And if there's a whole list of defense
Yep.
mechanisms. One of those defense mechanisms that is considered mature, right?
Mm-hmm.
It goes immature, somewhat
Mm-hmm.
mature, and then
That's
mature. The
yeah.
somewhat mature is acting out.
Mm-hmm.
Another way of saying that is lashing out. So
Yeah.
in other words, if back in the day, if you push me, I go push somebody else,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
I push you back. So
Yeah.
I like you, so I'm gonna bother you. I'm gonna
Yeah.
like you, so I'm gonna pull your hair.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
and that's how you learn how to have love.
Mm-hmm.
But most of what I'm seeing is that we have all of these emotions,
Mm-hmm.
and in order to defend us, we
Mm-hmm.
must act out. And acting out can be as little as
Mm-hmm.
sending off a bad text, and as
Yeah.
major as going and bust somebody's cars out.
Correct.
Right? Didn't we
Yeah.
had it wasn't that a song? I bust your windows out my car.
Yeah. It's
Yeah,
Jasmine Sullivan. It's a great one. It's a
it
hit.
is a
Yep.
good one.
It's a good one.
Anyway, go ahead. You got anything before we jump off to the break?
No, I was saying that I totally agree, and I think that what we don't understand in the Black community is that because we haven't had the ability to focus on wellness, healing, and our
Mhm.
mental health as a
Mhm.
priority,
Right.
the emotional maturity isn't there
Right.
that actually provides the sustenance for long-term relationships.
For growth.
So long-term relationships is a reward for emotional maturity.
Right.
So if we don't have that consistently throughout our community, we're not going to see the results. Hence the divorce rates.
We got to heal.
Yes,
And we got to
healing
stop.
is
We got to
important.
stop fighting in ways that are not benefiting to us. So you fight, debate,
Yeah,
argue, but
yeah.
in the ways that
Not
we're
in a
doing
form
it,
of self-detriment,
right?
though.
We're not doing it in a proper way. All right, so let's take a quick break, and on the other
Mhm.
side, we're going to spend more time on healing
Yes,
than
indeed.
anything else. This is Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. Welcome back. Unapologetic. Shout out to Tri-C. I was a Tri-C member when Akron kicked me out.
Oh, you're
Yeah.
so special.
I'm gonna write a book one
You
day.
should.
The title is How I Survived the Seventh Grade.
Oh, wow.
That
That's
is the
actually
title.
really
I did
intriguing.
seventh grade twice.
Oh, but here's the thing. I bet you it end up being like something that they would share in the middle school too.
You think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did second grade. I did seventh grade twice.
Yeah.
Anywho, all right, let's talk about healing. Let's
Okay.
start off with your book. And this book is so healing starts with the individual first,
Correct.
and then the outer individuals later. So go
Mhm.
ahead, start with your book.
So you're talking about the actual book that we're doing for Yep, for everyone.
For today, right?
Oh, for today. Okay. All right. So the book is The Mountain Is You. And I can't even what is the author of this?
I'll get all that stuff.
Find that
You
for
do your
me.
thing.
Yeah. So The Mountain Is You is it's a book about conquering self-sabotage. So that you can learn how to get out your own way and reach your greatest and best self. The Mountain Is You is such an incredible book. If I was to create a course on self-awareness, self-mastery, self-development, this would be the textbook. It also has a workbook on Amazon. So like if you order The Mountain Is You on Amazon, you can order the workbook that will help you actually work through some things, and there's some prompts, and it is mind-blowing. So
it's an individual healing piece.
It is so good.
So that is Brianna West, and she
Yes.
also wrote another book that also helped me in my prompt called 101 Essays That Will Change the Way You Think. So that's Brianna West. So The Mountain Is You. So the healing part. Talk about the healing part or the healing aspects that are inside that book.
So the thing that I find valuable about The Mountain Is You is that it's funny. It empowers you by letting you know how you disempower yourself on a regular basis.
100% self-sabotage is not a real thing. It is you.
It is you getting in the way of you.
You getting in the way of you.
And to be
or
fair,
the other shoe dropping or whatever I can't remember.
Right. No, but to be fair, our personalities are a pattern of experiences and behaviors that we consistently kind of model and flow into. And so after a while, you don't know the difference between like your personality and just a bad behavior you've been consistent with. So, or even your perspective and just something that you've committed yourself to believing to protect yourself from actually having the courage to do anything different. Right. So it's like saying, it's like what people use. I'm so sorry, y'all. But it's so funny
You're
because,
not
like,
supposed to laugh.
I know I'm trying not to, but it's like when people be like, "Oh, she big bone." Like everybody has the same bones. Like skeletons don't get bigger than
They
the
don't.
others. So like
They don't.
like that's not a real thing. But if you tell yourself that, I can tell myself that as in my way of not worrying about my weight, my size, or not wanting to increase my but I will say improve my eating habits, or that's my way of talking myself out of working. Like you can convince yourself whatever you want to based off what you've been told. You could say, you know what, I ain't never gonna be wealthy because wealthy people, they are born into it.
No.
You could work towards wealth, but
Yeah.
if you convince yourself of these things, those thought processes, those perceptions actually end up becoming barriers that you create behaviors that actually support your thought processes to not reach the goals that you actually want to achieve.
So in healing and getting to that understanding of healing, you
Yes.
have to first know yourself.
Correct.
You have to let go of the things that do not serve you.
Correct.
And you have to let go of the people.
True.
Let's put that out.
Absolutely.
That,
atmosphere matters.
That does not serve you. The other part that book does a really great job of, and I'm going to bring in this church word, is listening to the discernment.
Yes,
of
it
your
definitely
spirit.
does.
It does a great job of pointing out the small voice is the real
voice.
you.
Yep.
The big voice is not you. So in healing, we want to make sure that we pay attention to the small voice, and you listen to that small voice by doing what every discipline says.
Yeah.
Take a moment, shut off everything, and just spend time with you.
Self. Yeah.
With self. So what else you got? Because Joy coming up, and she got her community minute.
Yeah.
What you got?
No, that's it. Please, please, please. I encourage any and everybody to definitely get the Mountain Is You and the workbook, because it's definitely worth it. It'll remind you what it is that you may have given up on that you didn't even know you did so long ago, and that is still available to you today.
Okay. And after Joy goes through her community message, we're going to round out with some healing points, because I think it's very important to get to this healing point. So without further ado, I would like to bring in author, who are you? Joy King, which is my partner, and who has to endure all of my growth points after a while. So I do. So if anyone knows Joy King, buy her book.
I'm just listening.
Right. Buy her book.
Believe me, I do.
And also love her, and just buy her book and go and move forward. All right, Joy, what you got for us?
Hello, Eric.
Hi, Joy.
So today on Wellness Wednesday, we're going to take a moment to, ground ourselves, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually, based on the conversation we had today about, Black men and Black women. We want to make sure that we also take the time to make sure that these traumas that we go through, we recognize them, that they've been going on through our generations, and that, stepping back and taking the time to breathe and process and remember that our community thrives when we protect, not polarize each other. So I just wanted to take 5 to 10 minutes to do some breath work. Of course, not that long, but in general, but just to kind of show.
I was about to say, we ain't got that time. We ain't got that time, but
go. So it's called box breathing. It's a 4-4-4-4 grounding breath of inhaling.
She done locked up. She done did the box, and it sound like the computer didn't start at box breathing. All right, Joy, go ahead. Hurry before you before you sing. Go.
Inhaling for a count of 4, holding your breath for a count of 4, exhaling for a count of 4, and then doing it all again. So just trying to give some ways of relaxing our thought process, as well as journaling for others who don't like breath work. Some things we can kind of journal and ask ourselves is, what wounds am I carrying when it comes to relationships between Black men and women? Where have I perpetuated mistrust or disconnection, knowingly or unknowingly? How can I show up today with more compassion for myself and for someone who sees life differently than I do? And what would restoration look like if we chose understanding over defense? So just want to leave you with this point, Eric. I am not at war with myself. I am not at war with my people. I breathe in peace. I exhale compassion. I choose to love us whole. So be well and be whole.
All right.
Thank you.
Much love.
Back to you, Eric.
That's to me. See, that's that 20 years. Anywho, Where can people get your book and how can they communicate with you?
You can get my book either on Amazon, Finding Your Best Self, A Guide to Understanding Mental Health, or at Barnes & Noble's online. And you can follow me on Facebook at Finding Your Best Self.
All right. Well, I appreciate you as both a guest as well as my partner. Go ahead and have some fun, and I'll see you later.
All right. Take care. Thank
All
you so
right,
much.
Peace. So let's jump back into, let me turn your mic back on. There you go. Let me just jump back into this concept of healing. I didn't silence you. I just
Okay.
this idea of healing and healing within relationships. So this is a 4-part series. And the title, quote unquote, of the 4-part series is Why Side Pieces Keep Winning. Which is true. Side pieces keep winning. There's an abundance of side pieces out there. Shout out to the career side pieces.
Oh
Yeah,
wow!
and so today is definitely Mars versus Venus.
Okay.
Next week is fine. You effed around and found out the cost of divorce. So we're gonna have a divorce,
real cost.
right? So we're gonna have a divorce lawyer, and then
remind me to tune in.
You got to tune in, and then the third one, which is our men's, our men's discussion.
Oh wow!
Is really to talk about that 4th archetype, right? That rhymes with or. That 4th archetype to where you really want to get the sex that you want, and sometimes that legacy, or that if you are connected or married to a broken bird, she may not be able to give you what you want. So, and then the 4th Sunday. That's funny, like we in church. The 4th Wednesday. I did say that. The 4th Wednesday is about personal responsibility.
Yeah.
And taking personal responsibility for why your relationships are not working.
Oh, that's gonna be great.
Yeah,
it's gonna be a great series.
It's gonna be interesting. So this is our series of why why side pieces are winning.
I don't believe that, but okay.
Career side pieces. Come on, Shannon Sharp just got a piece. I mean, just got all these side pieces. They gave up their money. Shannon, I'm just saying. Anywho. Any last words before we jump off? We got a couple minutes here before we got to get out.
I'm gonna see how y'all try to validate these side pieces winning, but I do understand.
I'm not validating them winning. I'm just saying the stats. But
yeah, that's what I want. I want the stats on that.
What I want everyone in the community to do is cut off your social media. Don't click. Don't spend more than 30 seconds on a story. I know it's difficult because Sade sent me something the other day on some Rhapsody concert.
Don't do it.
And after I clicked on it, then I just saw all this whatever concert. What is it called?
I don't know. I think it was
I can't think of that. Yeah. It's whatever challenge of people calling somebody, telling them about a concert. But at any case, what I want you to do is first give gratitude for the fact that you woke up. Give gratitude that you have the ability to have earthly relationships. Indeed. Secondly, allow yourself the space to disconnect and find you first. You first commit to yourself, then you commit to an agreement with someone else. You committing to that person, thirdly. And then lastly, I just want you to just pat yourself on the back and turn off all of the social medias.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So that's pretty much all I got. I'll see you next month.
See you next month.
All right. This is Unapologetic on WOVU 95.9 FM. And I'll catch you next week where we talk about the cost of divorce. All right. Peace.